Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining our safety meeting today. Our topic this month is called Share the Road, Traveling with Bicyclists, Motorcyclists, and Pedestrians. We talk about these subjects a lot because, of course, that is who we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, along with the other vehicles on the road. So it's always something we want to keep on minds on. So our objectives by the end of this session is to know and understand more of our results from customer service in July. We'll talk about safety analytics results, back to school safety tips, potential hazards in navigating the environment with bicycles, motorcycles, and pedestrians, and how to safely share the road with others. We'll also touch on National Wellness Month. And with that, we'll go on to Miss Annette.
Okay, so we're going to go over customer service results for the month of July. In July, we had a total of 78 comments, which is good in comparison to July of 2024. We were at 98. So you guys have lowered that number by 20. Good job. Total comments by type. We have red is valid, green is unknown, blue is invalid. So we had 1 attitude, 2 bypass, 5 compliments, 1 early, 2 general, 2 off route. This was pretty high here. We had 6 pass-ups and 1 policy. Valid comments by reason in July. I like to share this slide because it kind of gives you an idea of what we need to work on. Repeated information, the 1 attitude, 2 bypass, 5 compliments. Just take a look at the driving. You have 0 valids in driving, which means that you guys are doing a fantastic job driving smoothly and safely, or safely and smoothly. Driver appreciation time, we had a total of 5 compliments for the month of July. We had kudos to Bruce on Route 56, kudos to Danielle on Route 2. Lisa, the driver was very nice. Donald Clay, great service and ride. And we also have a compliment for RTC customer service.
Yeah.
I wanted to share some of the photos from our Carson City barbecue and lucky draw. Here's a lot of the team here sharing a nice meal and enjoying the festivities. Here are some happy lucky draw winners. We had a total, I think, of 41 winners, and couldn't fit them all into the slide, but I did the best I could.
Awesome. Thank you.
For customer service? Thank you.
All right, guys. Jumping over to our bus rodeo update, the RSVPs for head count for people who just want to stop by or maybe bring their family members, those are due by the 29th of this month. That's because I have to get this information over to the vendors so they can make sure that they have enough food and equipment and can arrange for providing lunch that day. Regarding the RSVPs for anybody who's interested in competing, those need to be sent in or brought over to myself or Annette by the 26th of this month. If you're interested in being a judge or volunteer, please also let me know by that date. That's because at that point, that's where the heavy planning goes in as far as getting things coordinated, looking to see who qualifies to compete in the competition. Keep in mind that we also have to run routes and everything that day still. We're still in business. But we look at the those who are interested in competing. The last 2 years, I haven't had to turn anybody down. However, if I end up with too many applicants, I might have to go based upon the APTA requirements with safety, attendance, and making sure that you're all here for at least a year before you compete. Jumping over to our drive cam statistics. This is what I'm sharing on a regular basis with all of you, hoping to bring these numbers down. But unfortunately, in the month of July, all of our events mostly went up. We had 117 over the 112 last month. Rolling stops, late response, and following distance all also increased. Our failed to stop did go down, but that's also because we addressed some of the free right turns that were triggering high responses for the failed to stop signs. So hopefully that's what's bringing that number down, but I would really love it for all of you to help work on bringing all these numbers down. This is what our corporate safety team is looking at, the number of events, our risk score of those events happening, how often they occur with the red lights and following distance, as well as our coaching effectiveness. So they're looking at who are drivers that are getting these triggers and are they repeat offenders. So that's how we come up with these numbers to determine what we're looking like. And this is part of our competition with the other couple locations. They're also looking at our collision statistics, the 90-day comparison. We had 20 overall collision statistics from the month of July. Only 5 of those were preventable on our part. What I am seeing is a lot of hit and runs that we're running into. One thing that I'm going to ask is always when you're involved with, when you're out there on the roads, if there's space for you to maybe stay a little bit more in the middle of the lane, making sure there's plenty of room for vehicles on your left or your right, that you're doing that. Obviously, these are not our fault. They're non-preventable on our part because the other vehicles are hitting us. But if there's some opportunity for us to maybe mitigate that and prevent it from happening, just make sure that we're leaving space as best we can. We drive on a lot of narrow roads though and tight spots, so I know that's not always possible, but just be careful with that out there. It seems to be a weekly trend where I'm getting a lot of hit and runs, primarily mirror taps.
Oh, we're the hitters and we're the runners.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't see it.
No, they're running.
No.
They're heading us.
Oh, and they're taking off. Okay, yeah.
You had one.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna run the bus.
So-
I had one this month.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, you're one of them. Safety competition updates. I'm going to actually go past this slide because I like the next one a little bit better. It shows our stat comparisons. I know that's a little small, but on the top left, we have Reno statistics. Then you have Loudon in the middle and PRTC on the right. So for preventable collisions, both Reno and Loudon are tied at 4, and PRTC is down at 2. This is for the month of June. We're still waiting for some stats to get the updates for July. We are not doing great though in comparison to the other 2 locations. We're in last place when it comes to accident frequency rate. We're at 4.50, which is high compared to the 3.47 or 1.51 that PRTC has currently. And again, these are all comparable to the number of buses and drivers that we have that they have at these facilities. What is good for us is even though our lytics went up as far as the triggered events, what's great is the team here, the road soups, driver managers, and employees are really good at getting together, coaching, talking about these events when they occur. So very few events carry over, whereas in Loudon and PRTC, they're still trying to come up with that routine, that pattern of coaching people from the lytics events. So that's still happening. And then also maintenance has their own separate competition going on where, you know, it's kind of hard to say this. We're kind of up and down on this one as far as where the maintenance is. Everybody kind of returned in their sheets as 100%, but the reality is they wanted us to be a little bit harsher on what we're looking at. So everybody changed their numbers a little bit to try to give us a goal to work towards by being tougher on what we're looking at and observing when myself as well as the maintenance team go out and look at the yard, the shop, the garage. We look at all of those things and make sure that we've got, we're being compliant in a lot of areas and looking for improvement opportunities. Also making sure fire extinguishers are up to date, you know, those type of things. Going back to school, I put out some safety blitz notifications for everybody out on tables as a reminder that as of last week, we had elementary, junior high, and high school students back in school. This week, the kindergartners started, and this weekend we have the university students, sophomores, juniors, and seniors will be moving into the university and starting classes, I believe, next week. So we're going to see a lot more traffic up by UNR. It's already begun a little bit. So just be on the lookout for more people. You know, we know our triple LC, look ahead, look around, and for buses that are coming and going with the school kids. Stay alert. Traffic accidents associated with distracted driving. Be sure you're not talking or texting on your cell phone. Eating, sleep deprivation, and much more are huge distractions when we're out on the road. And not just for us, but for others that we have to watch out for and be defensive driving against. So make sure that we're following the speed limits. We're watching for the pedestrians, children, and cyclists especially. They're not always following the laws. They're going to be probably running across the street to catch up with their friend right out in front of traffic and not paying attention sometimes. They don't really make the best decisions, we've seen on occasion. Just be mindful of that and expect it to happen so you're ready if it does. Be mindful of the school drop-off areas where parents are pulling in and out. They're probably getting a little bit aggressive in a rush and speeding and trying to get their kids to school and then getting themselves to work on time. So they get a little bit, anxious with heavy traffic, as well as we. We need to make sure that we're staying professional when we're at school zone areas and kids are crossing on crosswalks. Don't get agitated by the cars in front of you that are happily watching all these children walk around and not moving as fast as you would like. Don't start hammering on your horn. I've seen that happen because we get a little frustrated because of what other people are not doing that we want them to do. But if you imagine if you're walking your child across the street or a family member and you've got a city bus right there on the corner just slamming on the horn and causing a ruckus. So let's not do that. Of course, be sure not to block the crosswalks and always be cautious of new drivers. Not only do we have university kids that are going to be coming to the schools, never been in the city, maybe they're brand new from a small town here in Nevada or outside of the state. They don't always know where they're driving or where they're going. You're also going to have students that come here without transportation that are going to start utilizing city transportation that have never ridden a bus. We're talking kids from square mile towns in the middle of nowhere that have never done that before. So they might ask questions, they might look nervous, they might be confused. So just be a little bit patient, see how you can help them out, and just know that they might be new people riding and not sure of what to do, where to go, or how to work the system. As for the bicyclists, I saw just a couple days ago on a local news article that I thought would share in this section where it says, we are seeing disturbing increase in unlicensed high-speed electric dirt bike use in densely populated neighborhoods and high traffic roadways. These bikes are not street legal, and the way they're being operated, primarily by juveniles, poses a significant risk to the riders and the public. This basically also includes, in my mind, the electric bikes. You have to be of a certain age to drive either one of these or have a license, and many kids are out there without those, so you've got to be prepared for people making unsafe moves and maneuvers, not being safe out there on these motor vehicles. We have over 130,000 bicyclists injured throughout the years, not just here, but everywhere. Nearly 1,000 bicyclists die. The cost of these accidents and deaths are more than $23 billion. And most deaths of these occur in urban cities or city streets, and approximately 64% away from the intersections. So how can we minimize the potential risks? One or two things. Anything? Anybody?
Just keep your eyes on the road.
Keep your eyes on the road. That's all we got to do. Look ahead, look around, rock and roll. Maintain 3 feet between your vehicle and the bicycle. Be patient and wait for a safe distance to pass when necessary. If you've got a bike in front of you and they don't have a bike lane, yield to the right of way of a bicyclist or pedestrian when appropriate. If you are driving at nighttime and you have high beams, avoid using those or bring them down if somebody is coming towards you in a bike so they can see a little bit better. Before opening your vehicle door and letting passengers out, make sure that there's no electric bikes or bicyclists or people on scooters coming up along the side of us where we might end up getting the collision between the bicyclist and our passenger exiting the bus. And also just keep in mind the bus weighs more than 13 tons and a bike is about 20 pounds. So I think we can all guess who's going to win that fight every time, right? So you got to be very careful out there. Look carefully for bicycles before turning left or right. So on right turns, a bike might be a little behind you and to the right of you and may be planning on going straight ahead. If you don't signal your right turn or pulling into the bus stop, you might end up hitting each other. So always be aware of that and watching your mirrors. For your left turns, a driver might be making a left turn ahead and seeing an oncoming bicyclist. Sometimes they might think that they have enough time and go for it, thinking that the bike is going to be a little bit slow. But the bikes nowadays can go up to 40, 50 miles per hour. So don't assume it's going to be slow. Make sure that you're calculating the right amount of time and watching their speed before we make that turn and avoid any accidents there or collision. Again, look ahead, look around, leave room, and be safe. With our motorcyclists, on average, 35% of fatalities involve speeding, 42 involve alcohol impairment, 46 of fatal crashes that occur on weekends involve alcohol, 42% occur at night involve alcohol, and 16% that occur during the day involve alcohol. So what might those statistics tell you?
Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive for one, right? Obviously. But what I want to really share is we've got street vibrations coming up next month. People are out there, they want to have a good time. Somebody might only have 1 or 2 drinks and they're going to be under the influence, and might not be making good decisions. They might be erratic. Maybe they're completely drunk and having very bad maneuvers on the road. There's going to be a lot of lane splitting. We'll see that here in this next slide. Lane splitting is legal in California, but it is not legal in Nevada, although it seems that all Nevadans seem to think it is from what I see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
right. But in general, imagine that's going to be even heavier when it comes to people being out here and having fun and trying to have a good time during street vibrations. Just expect that that's going to happen, so you're aware and you can, be on the defense at all time and prepared for what they might do. So how do we minimize the potential of those things? When it comes to motorcycles, always allow 3 to 4 seconds of following distance. Remember that motorcycles often slow down by shifting to a lower gear or releasing the throttle, and the brake lights may not always be activated when doing so. So just be prepared for them to do that. Rock and roll, check your blind spots. Motorcyclists may adjust their lane position to see better or avoid hazards. Do not assume that they're just giving you space. Always pay extra attention when you see somebody on the road and watch where they're going, watch what they're doing. And based upon the statistics we just read, if they seem to be driving a little erratic, be very prepared to maneuver your bus where you're not going to have any collision with them. And last, we go on to the pedestrians. Everyone is a pedestrian. Where's our hot spots? What's our biggest hot spot for pedestrians?
4SS.
4SS. You've got people jumping out of one bus and running into another. Some are using the sidewalk and some are not. It just depends on the people, the situation. 17% of all traffic-related fatalities are pedestrians. The 2 pictures I put here, instead of the corporate pictures, I just included a couple here from Reno. These look like primarily crosswalk pedestrian strikes. A pedestrian is killed every 2 hours. Every 17 minutes, a pedestrian is injured. 74% of pedestrian fatalities occur in non-intersections, and 75% of pedestrian fatalities occur when it's dark. So in following with that, another article I pulled, granted it was from 2023, it says we have 12 this year recorded as deaths for pedestrians compared to last year at 11 in 2022. The thing we're having to see this year is that they were noticing a lot of pedestrians in Reno. Our crashes are mid-block locations. In other words, people aren't using the crosswalks, painted crosswalks, or aren't walking or using well-lit areas, or mid-block where a normal driver wouldn't think that somebody would be crossing the street. So with that, we of course again want to avoid distracted driving and look for the pedestrians at all times, especially the little ones as school is beginning. Always look before you turn. Follow your traffic signs and signals. Always give pedestrians the right of way, even if you're pulling out at 4th Street Station. It's frustrating because they're not letting you go and there's a crosswalk. You're just going to have to put on a smile and wait a moment and then get going. Follow your speed limits. Be prepared during tough weather, which we'll talk about more so as we get a little bit closer to wintertime. And then reduce your speed and prepare to stop when approaching a crosswalk, especially in places where you might have more traffic with kids, such as parks, schools, ice cream trucks over on the 21. So always just be on the lookout. And that brings us to personal health and wellness. A healthy outside starts from the inside. The greatest wealth is health. So August is National Wellness Month, and it's an opportunity to reflect on how to prioritize health, wellness, and a healthy lifestyle. A healthy lifestyle can be challenging to maintain, but remember that every day of the year is a new day and a new chance to practice self-care. Strive to make big or small steps towards healthy habits every day. Inspire people to take time out of their busy schedules to focus on a bit more of self-care. Maybe for a couple ladies, that's going to a spa, or some guys going to play a basketball game or go bowling. Get out, have fun, enjoy some family time and friend time. Bring those healthy habits to your day-to-day life. A healthy lifestyle is also a marathon, not a sprint. Set goals that are attainable and realistic so that you can meet them and feel a sense of accomplishment. If you decide that you're going to start joining the gym and go 2 hours a day and never fail for a whole entire year, chances are you're going to fail at that at some point. So take small steps. I'm going to go to the gym 2 times a week. That's my goal. For however long I make it, I make it. And then maybe add more and more days as you go. And of course, we know that the general topics of drink plenty of water, get a lot of sleep, nourish yourself with a natural, healthy diet, enjoy the outdoors by getting some exercise, especially while it's still nice out. Disconnect from social media. That can trigger some people and get frustrations going. So if it's not a healthy place to go, then stay away from it. And remember, health and wellness is also about you and how you interact with your family, your friends, and your peers. And it doesn't hurt to be thankful for something. Gratitude can physically change your brain for the better. And then do something nice for someone. That does the same thing. It's a very heartwarming feeling, not only for yourself when you help others, but also how it feels to you and what you get when you get compliments. So it's always a nice thing. And that concludes our safety meeting, nice and early for the week, or the month, I should say. If you have any questions, let me know. Come see me. Thank you.